Whatever about their meeting, there was little communication between the Taoiseach and Mrs Thatcher as they sheltered from a lunchtime rainstorm here. But later, Mr Haughey described their hour-long talks as a normal meeting with a good working atmosphere. They had discussed security, the Anglo-Irish agreement and extradition. So had he told her of the widespread anger in Ireland over her attack on the government's handling of the Father Ryan affair?
Well, the Prime Minister is well aware of the reaction that there was in Ireland to that particular remark of hers in the House of Commons. And I feel that it's very unfortunate that extradition seems to have got into this sort of situation. In fact, circumstances are such now that it's very hard to see how extradition can work properly at all, because every single individual extradition case now becomes a sort of headline sensation. Very often is mentioned in the House of Commons, is politicised, and of course extradition deals with the freedom of the human being, and it's something that should be dealt with and reserved exclusively for courts of law.
The Taoiseach told the Prime Minister he would be very much in favour of the Criminal Law Jurisdiction Act being more widely used. That allows for trials in one country for offences committed in another. He had explained to her the advantages he saw in the procedure, and she had taken these on board. But given all that has happened in the past week on the Father Ryan affair, are Anglo-Irish relations under renewed strain?
Well, as you know, Anglo-Irish relations are very rarely normal. And I have said on a number of occasions that as long as the problem of Northern Ireland exists, I don't think we can ever expect to find the sort of normal relations, friendly relations of the kind that should exist between two neighbouring parliamentary democracies. And I think experience shows us that there will always be some new development, some event which will cause trouble and tension in Anglo-Irish relations.
Despite the rejection of her criticisms and demands by both the Irish and Belgian governments, Mrs Thatcher was still adamant that she had right on her side. She repeated that it was not enough to make ringing declarations against terrorism. What was needed was effective action to bring people charged with offences before the courts. The extradition procedures, she said, are not working satisfactorily. She said she asked Mr Haughey to review the Extradition Act.
I pointed out that the Taoiseach had said that if the procedures did not work properly under the legislation that he was then proposing, he would have a look at the matter again. And I therefore asked him to have a look at the matter again.
I asked Mrs Thatcher how she would now characterise Anglo-Irish relations.
I made my views very clear to Mr Haughey, and I think that he can understand why we hold them so very seriously and why we regard it as a very grave matter. We are on the receiving end of concerted terrorist attacks. It's our police, it's our soldiers, who, may I say, defend the whole of Europe as well, our civilians and our people, who are on the end of being bombed, maimed or killed. And therefore, we expect there to be efficient procedures so that those people who are charged with offences can be detained, if necessary extradited, but brought before a court for the court to decide the matter of guilt or innocence.